Do you think men and women are equal in Christianity?
I think we live in a society where we have not yet achieved equality between the sexes, so it makes perfect sense that we have not achieved equality in one of our major cultural institutions, that being religion. Christianity is no different than the other major world religions. Equality has not been achieved, but even to talk about Christianity in general is difficult, because there are some sects of Christianity which have made huge strides towards becoming more equal between the sexes, and some that are still quite far behind. There are many Protestant faiths that that provide women the opportunity to be ministers. However, there are many that still do not, notably the Catholic Church. So roles and defined roles, usually in terms of those in power and those who are subjugated, still exist, and they're usually along gender lines. So no.
Thank you. Why do you think men are only prophets or religious leaders instead of women?
I really think this is a reflection, again, of the society which these prophets are coming from. When you think about when these prophets made their prophecies, when they were teaching, it was in societies that were predominantly dominated by men. Women were subjugated into a secondary role. So given that they didn't have a voice in society, it makes sense that they also didn't have a voice in their faiths. So I think that is merely a reflection, again, of the oppressive society that they lived in. And it's still why most of the prominent speakers today are still men in many world religions.
Do you think men have superiority over women in all religions, or do you feel it's Christian specific?
I think that really connects to your first question. And superiority is a dangerous word. Men have placed themselves in a position of authority that does not make them better than women. And that's one of the problems, is we talk about it in terms of superiority and inferiority, when we need to focus on trying to develop equality between the genders in religion and all aspects. So no, it's not specific to Christianity. It's a reflection of all the societies.
Do you think men and women are equal in Islam?
I think men and women are equal in Islam as far as the rewards that men and women get for good deeds that they do. We're talking in a religious context. In terms of the way they're treated in front of God, there are differences in the worldly life in these things, but in general they are equal, of course.
Why do you think men are only prophets or religious leaders instead of women?
Well, this has to do with the modesty of the Muslim women. First of all, we have to look back to the times of prophets. Most women were not in public life. So therefore, if you had a woman, coming and saying, "I'm a messenger of God, listen to me, follow me," most men would not accept that. So their message would not be delivered. But also from an Islamic point of view, women and men as well, but more so women should practice modesty, and therefore it would not be appropriate for them to fulfill all the roles of a prophet in terms of being in the public eye all the time and leading people, so forth and so on.
Do you think men have superiority over women in all religions, or do you feel it's just Muslim specific?
I honestly don't know of any religion that really preaches that. I mean, I think a lot of these patriarchal tendencies are cultural. So you'll see this, like for example, you'll see this type of male dominance all throughout East Indian culture, whether it's Hindu or Muslim or Sikh. So I don't think that it's something specific to any religion, and I certainly don't ascribe that to Islam. I think that's much more cultural than religious.
Do you think women should be modest in Islam?
Yes, I think that's definitely a desired role for the society. I mean, when you look at our society, the society I grew up in, Western society, there definitely are modest women, but at the same time, there is an objectification of women. So women are used to sell commodities, for example. So when you look at, a commercial for razors, for men's razors, that has nothing to do with women, but in the commercial you'll see the big muscly guy with the half-naked woman, hanging on behind her, or a car, a muscle car, what is deemed to be a manly car, and you see like a woman in a bikini, laying on the hood of the car. All these different things, in the movies, beer commercials is the same thing. Wherever you look, especially professional sports, cheerleaders in football, all these different things, women are objectified by the media and by corporations. So I think it's definitely modesty for women is definitely something that is important, not just in Islam, but I think everywhere.
How do you view people that convert to other religions?
I think in order for somebody to leave the religion that they're brought up on, if they were raised as a religious person or in a religious tradition, I think that person has to be somebody who not only thinks critically, but also has the willingness to break away from their family traditions or their cultural traditions or societal norms and go with something that is against the grain. So it is what it is. I think to each their own. Everybody has to find their own way, and everybody should be able to choose what they want.
Do you follow any religion?
Yes, I follow the religion of Islam.
Did you grow up with any other religion?
Yes, I grew up as a Christian, as a Baptist Christian.
So why did you personally convert?
That's a deep question that takes a lot of explaining, but basically, to give you it in a nutshell, I became interested in Islam at a young age. I was interested in different religions or ways of life, just a curious person, and I found from friends and from knowledgeable people who I'd met that the more I learned about Islam, the more I agreed with that. It is like I always thought those things, but I was never told them. So when I heard them, I immediately agreed with them, and I recognized, or I thought that what I was being told, what I was learning about Islam made more sense to me than what I had been brought up on.
What do you believe is Sharia law?
Sharia law, as I understand, is divine law. So this is the law that was laid down by Allah or by God in the Quran and through the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to organize society and to run society by. But I feel that due to media propaganda here in the West, people have a very, and to be honest, many Muslims have a very distorted view of Sharia. So when you tell somebody Sharia law, although they really know nothing about Islam, if you ask them what are the 5 pillars of Islam, something that any 5-year-old kid in Pakistan or Indonesia knows, they have no idea. They couldn't tell you 2 or 3 out of the 5. Yet when you say Sharia law, they will jump at that and attack that, not really knowing what it is, because we're taught here through the media and through people who have their own, political and financial agendas that Sharia is just some barbaric legal code where, people's hands are cut off and women are stoned to death and just all these things that are not necessarily the case or are misrepresented.
What is the difference between Orthodox Islam and the Nation of Islam?
Well, the Nation of Islam is something that became very popular in North America due mostly to Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X converting. But it should be noted that both have actually since left the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam is basically a heretical group. We do not consider them as Muslims. They are disbelievers. They are racist. Their ideology is racist. They basically took parts of Islam and parts of Christianity and fused them together with black nationalism and made this so-called religion where white people are devils and the only saved people are African Americans or African North Americans, and everybody else is evil, and the white man did all these bad things. So it's completely contrary to the teachings of Orthodox Islam.
How do you view Muslim extremists?
That's a heavy question. How do I view Muslim extremists? I am against all forms of extremism. Islam teaches us to take the middle path. We should be a moderate nation. We should take the middle course. But there are many. First of all, I'd like to say that there are different types of extremes. It's not just the extremist, which is painted in the media of a guy with a turban and a big beard, saying "Death to America" or "Death to the Jews" or something crazy like that. Although these people may be extremists, there's also another form of extremism on the opposite side of the spectrum, which are these so-called moderate or modern Muslims, which are usually put up as the media as the opposite to these extremists. So these people who say that women shouldn't wear hijab and that we really don't need Sharia or anything to do with Islam in politics or in daily life, that it's just kind of the mosque on Friday is the church on Sunday type of thing. But in general, I'm against Muslim extremists. I think that they're misguided. I think that a lot of them have legitimate grievances, but they go about achieving their goals in the wrong manner.
How do you personally view other people of other religions?
Well, being somebody who is a Muslim but comes from a non-Muslim family, I mean, I definitely understand, a different way of life. I led a different way of life for most of my life. Everybody in my family is at least a Christian by name or an atheist. I have friends of different religions. I have Jewish friends. I have Buddhist and Hindu friends. So, to be honest, for me, I just, everybody leads their life the way that they feel fit or the way that they're comfortable with. I like to learn from those people, to learn about their religions, about their way of life and why they choose to live their life the way they do, and I just, let everybody do what they want to do.